Let's look at another money-related question. A driver travels for 2 hours at 60 miles per hour, during which her car gets 30 miles per gallon of gasoline. 30 miles per gallon. She is paid $0.5 per mile, and her only expense is gasoline at $2 per gallon. What is her net rate of pay in dollars per hour after this expense? So first, let's make sure we understand this net rate of pay. What does this mean? So in here, it actually, the question makes it very clear. The net rate of pay in dollars per hour after expense. So basically, we're going to understand this as the net rate of pay. It's going to equal the total pay minus the expense over the hours, the number of hours get paid. Now let's look at how we calculate each of these three things. The number of hours is easy. The problem already tells you that this driver travels for 2 hours. So number of hours is 2. All right, this is easy. Now what is the total pay? The total pay, the only information that the problem gives you is she is paid $0.5 per mile. So now this question is the total pay equals the total pay. So it will be equal $0.5 per mile. This is per mile. Of course, need to time the number of miles the driver travels, number of miles. Okay, and what's the expense? Expense will equal, her only expense is gasoline at $2 per gallon. So it's $2 per gallon. So this, we need to figure out how many gallons, the number of gallons. All right, we got somewhere. First, let's look at the total pay, the number of miles. How can we figure out the number of miles? Well, she travels 2 hours at 60 miles per gallon. All right, per hour, sorry. 2 hours at 60 miles per hour. So number of hours is 2. The average speed is 60 miles per hour. So we get number of miles equals 2 times 60. That will give you 120 miles. All right, so we got total pay. And what is the number of gallons? The number of gallons is 30 miles per gallon. So to figure out the number of gallons, we need the total miles. Well, we already have that. So the total number of gallons equals 120 divided by 30 miles per gallon. This is 120 miles. So this gives you 4 gallons. All right, so we have 4, and we know it's $2 per gallon, so we also have this. Okay, let's put everything together. So total pay equals $0.5 per mile times the total mile equals 2 times 60. This is 2 hours at 60 miles, so this is 120 miles times 0.2, and this equals $60. Total expense equals $2 per gallon, and the total number of gallons will equal 120 miles divided by 30 miles per gallon, so that will give you 4 gallons, and that will equal $8. So the net rate pay equals 60 minus 8, the total pay, minus the expense, divided by the 2 hours that it takes her to drive. So that equals 52 divided by 2. That will be $26 per hour. And that's the answer. Here, I'm showing basically a way of thinking. We start with what the question is asking and list the variables that we need to figure out. And for each of the variables, we'll see that how we get there. So the number of hours, for example, here is very easy, and then we try to figure out what is the total pay. Then you do this kind of exercise again. For the total pay, it's going to equal something times another thing, and you want to figure out each variables, how you get there. So this way of thinking is start with what the question is asking, what's asked, and then you go backward to fill out the gaps as coming from what the problem gives you in terms of conditions or the information. All right, so this is kind of a backward thinking process.